Alright, here's an update video on where we are with Operation Donkey Stomp Love Boat. So I hear we think it's a battleship now. Well, you know what happened to the Bismarck and the Yamato, both thought to be ultimate battleships. For that matter, you know what happened to all battleships. They're obsolete. Alright, today we're going to disassemble these bow tie heads that I got and clean them up a little bit. All the cylinders, when I checked them, were seeping a little bit, so alright, disassembled and cleaned up, ready to go back together on this one. Well, there's one done and reassembled. Time to start the second one. Last one done. Fixing to drop her back in. All back together. A little paint on them. They said you can't polish a turd. And yeah, apparently I hit the springs a little bit. Alright, that's what I got done this morning. Got my long wheel studs put in. Who needs a press when you got a bunch of washers and an impact? And for anybody wondering, the CPP kit that I got, the front rotors say, I think 68 to 72 Chevelle. Well, when you try to get wheel studs for that, the knurl is way different. But these ended up fitting perfect, and they are for an 05 and up Mustang. Just in case anybody else runs across this problem. No drilling or making the hole just a little bit bigger, nothing. They pulled right in. And for anybody that's not caught up on the situation, I'm pulling the motor out because it leaks from everywhere, so it needs gaskets anyway. So I'm going to put an oil pump in it because it's got horrible oil pressure, and a new timing chain since I'm doing the cam anyway. And since I put the rack and pinion on there, I can no longer just drop the oil pan with the motor in the car. It's in the way, and I don't feel like unbolting all that, so it's just easier to work on all of it out of the vehicle. That'll also give me a chance to clean the motor and transmission up, make them look like they're new at least. Speaking of new, when I got the car, the guy said the transmission was freshly rebuilt, which was a bunch of crap because it's leaked since day one. I mean, it works great, but it's always leaked. So I find it hard to believe that it was new.
Also, if you guys were wondering why I said I had the brakes done, but I still got the old master cylinder and brake lines on there, that's because I was just going to wait until I pull the motor out while there's plenty of room to work that way. And then I'm going to put the rest of it in.
Got my hooded helper here, taking the rocker arms off. Getting a little further along. Are you having fun yet?
Yeah, you can tell. Like father like son.
Well, it looks like a good place to end it for today. Pick back up tomorrow. So much still to do. Alright. Stuck the valve covers back on. Nothing's under them though. We're skipping around. We're going to start with this brake conversion instead. Well, I finally got the passenger side brake all broke down. Had to let it soak overnight because couldn't get the wheel cylinder nut off. And the funny thing is, I ended up having to go buy a new 25 millimeter to get it off with because the 1-inch wasn't as tight as the millimeter is. So, but I finally got it broke loose. And I tell you what, these kits might be good kits. I don't know. I haven't used it yet, but they're supposed to be nice. But man, the instructions suck. I'm putting this on here, getting the steering arm put on the back. Stuff's just not lining up. Well, it didn't say anywhere in there, hey, this is where you got to put the spacer to make everything work out. thank God for YouTube, so I'm just passing on what I learned. It also doesn't bother telling you you've got a long and a short bolt. Well, short bolt goes in the front, long bolt goes in the back. And since I had to take the steering arm apart to get all this apart anyway, I figured might as well go ahead and put the new steering arm on. As you can see, I mean, it's not, I don't have it lined up perfectly, but you can see it's shorter, so it's supposed to improve the turning radius. There's a difference in the steering arms, the length. I think it's 1 5/8 or something like that. Wow, that was a big project. I've got one side done. And it only took me about 4 hours. One problem after another. Almost there with the driver's side. Fighting with the 25mm again. Gonna let it soak a little while. You'd think that this side would have gone faster since I've already been through the other, but nope. Alright, we didn't quite get the other one mounted, but I did get the bracket on there. Gonna call it quits for the night. Some family time. Alright, driver's side's finally done. Took way less time since I knew all the hardships I faced, but it was still a struggle. Alright, got both of the wheels back on. Now it's time to get the radiator out and get this motor out. Man, I'll tell you what, that's one of the littlest, most beat up transmission coolers I've seen. I think it's time for an upgrade on that too. I looked at it the whole time it's been in the car, but I guess once I got it out and got it in my hands, it was a whole different story. But struggle is real, let me tell you. This thing has been fighting me in the most ridiculous ways. Every time I turn around, there's something else crazy that whoever put this together did that ends up fighting me trying to get it apart. Very frustrating. The very last thing was this bolt holding the radiator in. There was 3 of them across the bottom, and that one would not cooperate. Alright, running out of daylight. This is how far along I am now. Got the drive shaft unbolted. It's still sitting in there. The exhaust is off. Transmission's unbolted from the cross member. And it's starting to sprinkle, so I think I'm going to be done for the day. Yep, just ran out of motivation and time. Had family come by. Visited with them for an hour or two. And I'm just done. So guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for the likes, thanks for the comments. We'll see you in the next update, which will hopefully be tomorrow when I pull the motor and transmission out. I like to pull everything out all together. Makes it easier than trying to reach the transmission bolts in the car. Just pop 2 bolts loose from the cross member and yank the whole shebang out. Plus, transmission's got a couple of leaks I need to fix, so about time I finally get to them. Yeah, where the speedo gear connects to the transmission, that's one spot that seems to leak pretty bad. And I think it's also leaking from somewhere around the governor.